All right, y'all. I'm sorry that y'all had to read my lips. I hit some setting on there on the my laptop, and my lapel mic was not working, so there was a lot of good stuff said that y'all didn't get to hear. But we gonna do it again. So let's talk about it, shall we? Okay. Couple things to look for in these relationships so that you're not wasting time. All right. Let me first of all deal with goals. All right. Goals. I wanna deal with that first. There has to be goals set based on roles. So if example, she needs to know her role as the woman, and then she has to have a goal that she's striving toward as the woman, and it needs to be a woman's goal. The man has to have a goal that he's striving toward, and he has to know his role and a goal that he's striving toward to become the best of what he can be as the man. And it needs to be a man's role. So he should know what he wants to look like in the future. And that needs to be a goal that he has set that says that whatever I'm working on about my character, it's supposed to look like this when it's done. She needs to know whatever I'm working on about my character, it needs to look like this when it's done. So they need to know where they're headed. Now, a lot of problems come up when belief systems are off. Um, Gosh, I'm looking at the news. That's so terrible what that kid did to those protesters. I can't even look. Um, there has to be a model that you're striving to become, a perfection uh, that you're striving toward. If you're not striving toward anything, you're not going to get any better. You know, you might actually get worse. So let's deal with belief systems. Okay, if he believes in the Word of God, he believes that this is what God wants me to be. This is how I'm supposed to be as the husband, as the man. Based on my role, I should be like this. Then what he has is he has a model of something to strive toward. Because he has that model, and because he believes in being like that model, then anything that is said to him or discussed with him in the direction of that model, he receives that information because it pushes him closer to that goal and to become more and more like that model. If she, on the other hand, has a model, understands her role, knows what a virtuous wife is supposed to be like, then what she has is she has a role model. If she believes that role model is true, then anything that's said to her that pushes her in the direction of becoming more of that, then she receives that information because it's pushing her to become more of what she wants to be, what she believes in. But for example, let's say that she does not have a biblical role model that she believes in. She just believes in doing stuff the way she want to do it, doing what she sees society do, doing what she sees on TV, but doesn't care anything about how God said she should be. Well, then that man of God is going to struggle with her whenever it comes to addressing issues or saying anything that involves correction in the area that would help further point her to the way that she should be according to the Word of God, because she's automatically rejecting all information that has anything to do with her becoming like that. So she is not the wifey type according to God's model. If she is a wifey type, she is that based on her own model that she made up in her mind or got from TV or from society somewhere. So you're not going to be able to discuss things that pertain to the direction of God's will with her, and she receive it easy, if she receives it at all. She's going to wrestle with you, talk back, argue with you, cut you off, talk over you. Because one, she doesn't believe that you should lead. She thinks she should. Two, she doesn't believe that she should be like a woman of God that God has called her to be. She believes that she could be how she want to be. It's her life. She do what she wants. Right? So you ain't going to be able to tell her nothing. So that's all a waste of time. Let me give you another example. Let's say that there's a bunch of people that tell me I should be a singer because I got a good voice and I could sing real well. But let's say that I have decided that I'm not supposed to be a singer. It's not my destiny. It's for me to be a basketball player. But let's say that I suck. Let's say that I'm not even going to bring Shaq up, but let's say I can't even make a free throw. Sorry, Shaq. But let's say that's what it is. Because I have made up in my mind that this is my belief system. This is what I'm going to be. Can't nobody tell me nothing. I'm supposed to be a basketball player. I suck, but I'm going to the NBA. Don't know whose team I'm going to be on, but that's where I'm going. If I have made that up in my mind, but others are telling me, nah, you should be a singer, then any information that's given to me that involves singing, because of my belief system of I'm supposed to play basketball, then any information that's given to me that involves singing, I'm not going to receive. I'm automatically going to reject it. Doesn't matter how you tell it to me. Doesn't matter what tone of voice you use. Doesn't matter who tells it to me. Doesn't matter how high or how high or how low up you are. I'm not going to receive any information that doesn't point me into the direction of the idol I've made in my mind. So you're wasting your time talking to me about that. You cannot lead me there. But if you're talking about something that involves me being in the NBA, though I can't even dribble a ball, then I'm going to listen to everything you say because you're encouraging me in the direction of my belief system of what I think I need to do. That's the reason why you need to know what your partner's belief system is. Do you believe in submission? If she don't believe in submission or know what it is, and you explain to her what it is, and she says, that's not me. She believed that it's supposed to be the other way around. You submit to her, let her lead you. Then anything that you discuss with her that involves her um, being in the role of the woman that God has said she should be, she's not going to listen to you. She's just going to reject all information that you're saying. So you can sit down with her for hours, wasting your time talking to her. It's not going nowhere. So that's one thing. Y'all need a belief system that connects with the Word of God so that you can connect with each other. And so that God can be in it. Because if not, He's not in it. Plain and simple. Now, the other thing that's important is appreciation. Let's talk that. Appreciation. Now, as I have said before, and I'll say again, I'm not going to say crime does not pay, even though we know that it's a RoboCop thing, y'all who've seen RoboCop. As I have said before, and I'll say again, a man's pride is in his work. Ladies, understand that about men. A man's pride is in his work. He has an ego. He's born with it. He was given that by God. It is part of his design, the way he has been created. He does have an ego. A wise woman should know how to feed that ego to an extent. Now, I'm not talking about to make him arrogant and prideful and acting like he's better than everybody. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about encouragement. Encouragement. Showing appreciation for the things that he does and making him feel good for it. Making him feel as if what he does pays off. Now, if you don't, you belittle that man. You can put a man in a serious state of depression behind him doing a lot of stuff for you, and you act like it don't matter, or you complain about something more you want. Yeah, that can tear him down. Trust me, been there a few times. So no, you need to encourage him. If he does, let's say, 49 things, does it all perfect for you, but there was one thing that he did not do, which would make a 50th thing. And if we were to take of those 49 things, any one of those 49 things, it would outweigh that one thing you wanted. It would actually be better than that. If you could take any of the 49 things, any of those things would be better than that. That one thing. If you're going to bypass the 49 things he did, not say nothing about it, not give no encouragement for it, and start murmuring and complaining over this one thing you didn't get, you tear that man down. He'll feel like he's with a woman that's impossible to please. He's going to look at all this stuff I just did for her. I just did 49 things for her. I didn't do it for me, I did it for her. 49 things. She didn't say nothing about it. Instead, what she did is she started complaining because there was something else she wanted. Why would he be encouraged to give you anything else if you wasn't thankful for what he already gave you? If we were to use God, even God was hurt behind Israel doing that to him. Remember? And God would say all the time, I delivered you out of the hand of the Pharaoh. I delivered you from the Egyptians. I got you out of Egypt. And you forgot me. And you start murmuring and complaining. And if God was offended, who's greater than God? Not me, not you. So if he was offended behind his work from the past being overlooked and complaining being given instead, no praise for what was done. If God was offended by that, it hurt him. How much more us? So yeah, ladies, it hurts when a man does a lot of stuff. He is trying. He is doing better. He's making adjustments. There's no encouragement for that. He's just being put down, told what he's not instead of what he is. He's not encouraged to do anything else. And that's not the method that you should be using to push him into doing anything more. The method to push him into doing more is not to complain and belittle him of what he's not doing. It's to encourage him for what he did do, because man's pride is in his work. When you do that, you feed his ego and you make him want to do that more. That's a part of how a man thinks. That's wisdom for somebody. So yeah, she should be speaking good things, meditating on good things. Let me give you another example. Let's say something happens that she doesn't understand. She has good things to assume could have happened. She also has bad things that she could assume would have happened. Let's say it's 50-50. But if she was to go by her past experiences with her man and look at the history of things he did for her and where things were between them, she should be able to pull from a good list of things and say that maybe he didn't answer the phone because he was asleep. Maybe he was tired. Maybe his battery died. Maybe, maybe he didn't hear it. Maybe he was in the shower, maybe whatever. And pull from a good suggestion, a good assumption, because assumptions are not facts anyway. Assumptions is just based on what you think might have happened. But if the only thing that you're choosing from is a list of negative things that you could think might have happened, then what you're doing is you're putting that man into a negative category to where the only thing he could have been doing was something bad. When all of the things that he did for you was good in the past, and if you were able to use that past history in order to make your suggestion or assumption off of, you could have easily assumed something good. So why would you, when you have an option to assume something, it could have been a good reason why he didn't answer the phone, or it could have been a bad reason why he didn't answer the phone. Why would you choose a bad reason to believe when you could choose a good reason just as well? This means something's wrong with your way of thinking about him, that you were programmed to think negative. That it can't be he was just sleepy. Something simple as that. So you're not giving him the benefit of a doubt because of the way that you have been programmed to think. When someone's programmed to think negative, I'm not talking about slips. I'm talking about programmed to think negative. I'm talking about this is their character. It's the core of who they are. If I make a plan and I forget to follow up with that plan, that's a slip. If I say I'm going to do something and something comes in between it, that's a slip. If I say I'm going to be there at 2 o'clock and I somehow end up there at 2:05, that's a slip. Those are slips. That's not problems. But an actual problem where there is an issue with the way of thinking, the actual core of it, then this is who they are as a person. Negative. When someone is negative as a person, then everything that goes on, the only thing that they pick from in their belief system to believe what may have or may not have happened is negative. That's all they do is look at the negative list and say something from this list happened. When that's not facts, just as well as if they were to pick from a good list, that's not facts neither. So both of them, you're going by faith. You're just choosing to go by it negatively instead of positively. That's because the core of who they are is negative. Now, if the core of who they are is a positive person who thinks on good things, looks for good things, believes good things, hopes good things, positive energy. If that's the core of who they are, then when something comes up that they don't understand, they don't automatically just assume negative. They give it a benefit of the doubt and say, oh, maybe this happened. And they pull from the list of good things to assume what may or may not have happened off of. And they use that list based on the core of that person. This is the reason why a man should always deal with a woman that appreciates things, receives what he does, remembers what he does. If he does a bunch of stuff for her and she ain't talking about it, then she's going to be one of those where when something comes up that she don't understand, she going to automatically label him as doing something wrong. Because the history of stuff that he did for her, the good things, the big list of it, she didn't receive it. Remember, she was busy complaining about the one thing that she didn't get instead of the 49 things that she did get, and being thankful for it. What it does to a man is it makes him feel like, you know what, this woman is a burden. All she doing is asking for more and more. And don't say nothing about what I've done. 9 times out of 10, actually, 9 times out of 10, you would actually hear the majority of reports from men of the reason why he broke up with this woman, broke up with that woman. They will often tell you she didn't appreciate nothing. They will often tell you he did try to do stuff for her. He did take care of business. He did pay this. He did pay that. She didn't say nothing about it. She was complaining. Still, even after that, still complaining. And it discouraged him to the point to where he said, I'm done. I ain't going to keep doing stuff for you and you never happy. You're just not a happy person. That's not my fault. I can't change the core of who you are. That's between you and God. The only thing that can happen is that person has to be delivered by God, made happy, made a happy person based on relationship with God. And then when you come, you add to that happiness and you help keep that spark. But you cannot create that being. You know, someone who's pulling on you, they're expecting you to create that being. You can't create that being. It's God that creates that being. You keep the spark. The being's supposed to be created already before y'all get together. So that is how that works. Let's talk about denial. This could be another issue when your partner is not listening to you, because anytime you tell them there's something that they did that hurt you, they're in denial that they did it. In so much denial that they could do anything wrong, even unwillingly, even accidentally, even unknowingly. Just because someone said that you did something that hurt them, that doesn't mean they're pointing the finger out at you or picking on you or bullying you. They're just saying, this bothers me. Doesn't mean that I'm right, you're wrong. It doesn't mean I'm better than you, you're worse than me. That's not what that is. Here's the thing. When you're dealing with someone else, you can't just look at you. You cannot perceive things or receive things or see things just from your eyes only. For example, let me go back to the 49 things that were done, but the 50th thing wasn't done. If you're looking at just you, maybe to you, it's not a problem that you didn't say anything about the 49 things and encourage your partner of the 49 things that they did do. And you just complained about that one thing that you didn't get. Maybe to you, that's not a problem. Maybe to you, that's not putting no one down. Maybe to you, that's not bashing or discouraging or belittling that person. If you look at it from your eyes, it's not like that to you because you're not the one who's experiencing that action. But if you were to not be selfish and look at it from the eyes of your partner, see from their eyes, then you would understand that it is belittling them. It is making them feel like everything they did was in vain. It is making them feel like you're overlooking all these greater things I did for you so that you can complain about something that's lesser than all those things. And you're not being thankful for that. If you see it through their eyes, then you'll see what sort something is of. If you see it from your eyes, then you cannot decide what sort something is of. If you were single, then the only eyes that you need to look at something from in order to decide what sort it is of, whether it's good or bad, is your own eyes. But when you're with somebody, then what you do affects that person too. So now you can't just look at yourself to decide what sort something is of. You have to look through their eyes in order to decide what something is of, because they're the one that's experiencing the action. If I cut you with a knife, it is not for me to tell you that you're not hurt or you are hurt. Because the one who's experiencing the action is not me. I'm the one that did the action. The one who's receiving the action is you. So it's up to the other person to determine what sort something is of. And if you're going to find the truth, then you have to look at it from their eyes, not yours. When you get in a relationship and things are based on selfishness, and all you're doing is looking at yourself, what you feel, what you want, what you feel is right, and you're not looking at your partner, then you can't tell what hurts them and what does not. You're too busy trying to be right. You're too busy denying that you did that. You're too busy having the last word, not listening. Wisdom is being slow to speak, quick to hear. When somebody's hurt, the person that needs to be listened to is the one that's hurt. If you hurt somebody and the person that you think needs to be doing the most speaking is you, the person that you think needs to be heard is you, and you the one that just did the damage, there's something wrong with the way you think. Wherever the bleeding is, that's where the bandage needs to go. Wherever the pain is, that's what needs to be paid attention to. But some people will cause pain to their partner, not pay attention to that pain so that they could be right and say that they didn't do nothing wrong, rather than listening to them. See, when you listen, that's how you learn each other. Sometimes things are suggestions that we treat as issues. It's possible to treat an issue as a problem, a suggestion as a problem. If somebody's favorite color is black and the other one's favorite color is green, and you give them a problem because their favorite color is green, you tell them it shouldn't be green, it should be black because that's what I like. Well, that's not an issue. That's a suggestion. That's a preference. You're treating a preference like a problem. I'm going to say that again. You're treating a preference as if it's a problem. If you like black and they like green, they shouldn't have to change that just because that's what you like. Because that's not a problem. That's your preference. You can't shove your preference on somebody, have a discussion over it, and treat it like it's a problem. The problem is some people are addressing preferences instead of addressing problems. You don't have to talk about everything you see. Neither is it wise to speak out about everything you think. If you have an invention in mind, you would be a fool to go out there and just tell everybody about it. Don't have it copywritten or nothing. You don't just speak about everything that you think. As a matter of fact, a healthy relationship is a relationship where a lot of stuff they don't address. They only address stuff that's necessary. Things that could cause a serious problem. But if his favorite color is green, her favorite color is black, there's no reason to take time out of your day, spoil your day, so that you can sit down and argue about colors. That's as childish as it gets. You're addressing preferences rather than problems. There are some people that get into relationships just looking for problems. Sitting there waiting for something to happen so they can say something about it. Everything could be going good. One little thing happened. They're going to let that spoil their day. Forget everything, mess up the mood, ruin all of it so that they can sit there and argue about something that doesn't even matter. When you could have just left that out. You could have just not said nothing. And you would have coasted through your day with the same joy. It probably would have made up for it later anyway if you didn't run your mouth. But so many people always gotta say something. Always gotta have a word. Pick a bone with you. Can't just be happy, you know? I'm gonna tell you something. Ladies, men like things easy. They like it easy. They like it easy on. They want somebody that's easy to please. Back to the 49 and 50 things. He did 49 things for her. She didn't encourage him once. The 50th thing he didn't do, she had everything bad to say about him because he didn't do it. He's thinking in his mind, you know what? I could have took half of what I did. Maybe not even half, a quarter of what I did. Did that for someone else. That someone else would be blown away by just a quarter of that. And I did almost 100% of that for you, and you still complaining. You've made yourself hard. You're making me feel as if anything I do is never enough. You're just not satisfied. Even if I did do the 50th thing, you would find something later to complain about. Though you may swear up and down, if you do this, you do that, I'll be happy. Okay, he does that. You're still not happy. Because the problem is not what you're getting from him. The problem is just you. It's your way of thinking. You're greedy. You're greedy. You want more and more. You're never satisfied. You're not able to enjoy your day. People out here dying of viruses and stuff, and you complaining about stupid stuff like your favorite color shouldn't be green, it should be black. Complaining over dumb stuff, arguing over things that's stupid, things that don't even matter, stuff that's not even an issue, things that's not even worth even discussing. You shouldn't even be having a discussion over that. Let me give you another one. When you come to a conclusion on a matter, it's done. It's buried. Once you have said, okay, I get it, I understand, sorry. Once he has said, well, I get it, I understand, sorry, I'll do better. Once y'all have come to a conclusion on a matter, don't go bringing it back up again. That's the stupidest thing you can do. That's stupid. Do you know what that means? Listen, when y'all come to an agreement on a change, on a matter, you come to a conclusion. You've already had a discussion. And then you're going to go dig it back up and rediscuss that. Talk about it again. Then that means that your agreement was in vain. You were just running your mouth when you said, I'm sorry, I got it. You were just talking from the side of the lip when you said, I understand. No, you didn't. If you understood, if you've come to a conclusion, if there's an agreement, if you said that, then why are you going back into things of the past? Re-talking about it. All you're doing is opening the door for the devil to come in and make y'all argue over something that's done. Stuff that's over. Getting into arguments over things you already argued about. Discussions you already had. You're doing the same thing you already did. How are you going anywhere if you're living in the past? No, you have to leave that where it is. Move on from that. Whatever adjustments y'all agreed to make that. And don't bring back up what happened back then. Have you ever been in a situation where you get into a current argument, and then out of that current argument, old arguments start coming up? Y'all are talking about something fresh off the press. You're dealing with an issue today that happened today. Now that you're dealing with that issue, the devil start messing with your mind, bringing up stuff that you dealt with way back in the past. Now you ain't even arguing about the current thing anymore, which is the thing that y'all should be discussing and coming to a conclusion on right now, because that's what's actually happening right now. Now the devil got you arguing over something from years ago. That's not even a current matter. It's expired. And you digging back up into it and going on as if this just happened. That's why we gotta leave stuff alone. Once it's buried, leave it buried. Don't go back into it. Move on from that. Forgive, move on. So there you have it, y'all. That's a couple of quick pointers. Do not be burdensome to one another. Just picking with each other. Like I told you, being in a relationship doesn't mean address everything. You don't have to address everything. You don't have to say something about everything. You don't listen. You don't even have to say something about everything you don't like. Only serious stuff. Only things that can destroy y'all. That's what you say something about. But you don't look for every little detail about a person and tell them a piece of your mind. Do you know that's crazy? That is bondage. I mean, if that's the case, you might as well get a robot, program that robot to do what you like. And I think they do got some in China. Not giving you no ideas, but if that's the case, we'll get you a doll and program that doll. Teach it everything you want, exactly the way you want it. And let that doll be your slave. But you can't do that to people. No, you deal with the things that's necessary to deal with. You see something that you don't quite like, sometimes just let it slide. Weigh it out in your mind. Is this worth talking about? Should we sit down and have a meeting over this? Should I spoil the moment over this? Or should I just bypass that? Ain't that serious? Let it slide. Some stuff can slide. You got to try to make these relationships less stressful. Deal with less problems. Otherwise, it's going to be like every time y'all talk, all you doing is dealing with problems. You shouldn't have did this. You shouldn't have did that. I don't like this. I don't like that. That happened. You could have did that better. All day, all night. Man, I'm telling you, that's crazy. That's stressful. That's how you get to the point where you start feeling like I'm good single. Knowing you want somebody, you just want somebody that's good for you. That's all. You don't want to just sit there and be kicking your sheets all around and, got all that space on your bed. You don't want that. You want someone you can get along with. So think about these things. Very, very serious. You got to watch who you're dealing with. As I said before, there are some people that's programmed with the negative because stuff they're surrounded by. You gotta watch people that talk too much too. You know what I'm saying? Get into it with you, go tell their family. Stupid. Why would you go tell your family? Your family gets into it. Well, who they're with? Everybody goes through stuff. Everybody has a disagreement sometime. There's nobody that's going to agree with you 100% but you. If that's the case, put a ring on your own finger and marry yourself. Bring you a mirror to a wedding or something and kiss that mirror. That's what you might as well do, if that's the case. But there's nobody that's going to agree with you 100%. You know? Other than yourself. God don't even agree with you 100%. He's the one trying to tell you change. Agree with him. The devil don't even agree with you 100%. Even he wants you to be different. Become like him. Nobody agrees with you 100%. Only you. So you can't expect your partner to be like that. Of course, y'all need to agree on many things, and especially the major things. You know, that involve the direction of where you're both headed, what you both believe, the core of stuff. You believe in being the head. She believes in being submissive. These are core things that involve God. Okay, these are final destinations. That's important. These are foundational. These are things that hold you together like cornerstones. That's the kind of stuff y'all need to agree on. But not, my favorite color is green, why is his black? That's stupid. Yeah. So think about these things. And as I said, don't go running your mouth to your family and friends. Let me give you an example. She has one little disagreement with her man. He did everything right, but one thing, he may have slipped, whatever. Let's say he was wrong, the one thing, but he did everything else right. She go and run her mouth to her friends. Okay? When she runs her mouth to her friends, she's not going to tell her friends what she did to lead him to do what he did. Because often people are provoked. When he first got with you, he wasn't acting crazy. Obviously, if you fell in love with him, then when he first got with you, he wasn't acting crazy. He ended up acting crazy somewhere down the line. But what caused him to act crazy? If he was just like that, then when y'all first met, then he would have been like that. And y'all would have never got together because you would have said he's crazy. So it's obviously there's something that provoked him to become that way. Something made him snap somewhere. So what did you do to make him do what he did? Often when she goes to her friends and run her mouth, or to her family and run her mouth, she's not going to tell what she did to lead him to do what he did. And a lot of people got phony friends anyway that's not going to tell them. Even if they did share the whole truth, both sides of the story. Usually they're not going to say, you know what, you were wrong there. Yeah, he did do that. He shouldn't have did that. He was wrong there. But you know what? You did that. You shouldn't have did that. When you did that, you provoked him to do that. So he didn't just do that. You caused him to do that. And give them the truth and tell them, you know what? You could have did better and he could have did better. Both of y'all. Now the phony friend is going to side with her. That's why she's not going to share her side of the story. She's going to share his side of the story, run to her friends and talk about how he treated her. He did this to me. He yelled at me. He. And then her friends, because For whatever reason, they ain't got into it with their men too, or got a problem with men in general and just hate men. There are people like that. Help help her badmouth her man. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't take that if I was you. Her friend been divorced 5 times. Yeah, I wouldn't take that if I was you. You keep listening to her, you're gonna be divorced 5 times. How's she gonna tell you how to keep a man when she can't get one? Or if she do get one, he's with her for the wrong reason because he can't take her serious. That's who you're going to for advice. You're not going to get advice, you're going to get foolishness. But sometimes people like to feed off foolishness. Now, here's the problem with when you run your mouth to people like that. Let's say she goes home, they kiss and make up, whatever. All right, y'all, they made up. Y'all are far over that. Weeks, months went by. This ain't even an issue no more. But guess what? Because she didn't share that one side of the story, made her family think that that man was bad. She didn't do nothing wrong. It was all him. He just snapped. Nothing made him snap. If that's the case, he need to be in some mental institution or something. If he's just snapping for no reason, you know. You don't just go walk in the store and just out of nowhere look at somebody and say, blah, 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 cuss them out. And they just looking like, what you cussing me out for? I ain't even do nothing to you. Somebody like that deserved to be in some crazy place. But this dude obviously had to be something if she fell in love with him. So he didn't start like that. He ended up like that. But as I said, because she didn't share her side of the story, now, even though they ain't made up and everything, all her friends and family is looking at him as the bad dude. When he had done all the stuff that he was supposed to do and treated her well and did everything after that, they've been made up. The problem is when you all forgive, the family and friends still hold the grudge. So they always look at them like, you know, why you do my cousin like that? Why you do my friend like that? You know, when everybody's doing everybody some sort of way. I'm just being real. Everybody's doing everybody some sort of way. You just don't hear about it because a lot of people don't run their mouth. But the ones who do are foolish. Getting everybody into their business as if they can correct and fix their relationship for them. They can't fix nothing. They can't help you. So why would you even, you know, you the one that got in it, you deal with it. It's between y'all and God. You know? So you don't need to pull everybody in the middle of it. But yeah, that's how that goes. And the ones that are not going to be real with you, they're going to side with their friend or relative. Their relative could have did all kind of stuff wrong. Put that man down, stole from him, cheated on him, whatever. And he snapped one time. They're going to look past all her cheating, all her stealing, everything she did. They're going to look past all that and say, you did that to my cousin. Why you do that? You know? And they're going to point out his mistake and ignore hers because they're siding with family. And sometimes friends will do that too. But the real friends, they're not going to do that. They're going to tell her, you shouldn't do him like that. You know, that's a good man. That man put the ring on your finger. He's handling business. He's trying to be loyal to you. Y'all went through a little hiccup. Okay, it happens. But you didn't have to do what you did. You cheated on him. You didn't have to do that. You calling some other guy behind his back. You don't have to do that. That ain't right. You know, you know, they would tell their friend straight out, you don't do a good man like that. If they care anything about their friend, they would tell them the truth and not just let them run rampant and do stupid stuff that they could either end up getting seriously hurt behind or ending up with a disease that they can't get rid of, passing it on to someone else who doesn't deserve to die. And all of that happened because someone wanted to side with someone and not tell them the truth. That you know what, you need to make some changes. Yeah, he could be better, but you could be better. You know, and stop these one-sided relationships. So there you have it, y'all. Hopefully that wisdom is encouraging and helps you to not waste time. Make your decision, make your selection wisely. I'm going to tell you like it is, not everybody is going to change. You need somebody who's on that path, you know. Not everybody's going to change. There is nobody who is perfect. So everybody has something wrong. But it doesn't have to be to the point to where it's so bad to where it's stressful and to where y'all can't get along. It's always an argument, always a fight, and you can't have no peace. If you can't have no peace, God's not in it. You know, if every time y'all talk, you can't even talk without something bad being said that's just, downgrading, putting you down, tearing you apart, God's not in it. When God's in a relationship, the issues that they have is like small stuff that's easy to deal with. Things that someone from the ghetto would look at and say, you know what, out of the ghetto women that I've been dealing with, that little argument that y'all got, that's a joke. Talk about knives being pulled out. Talk about things being thrown, stuff being broken, doors being slammed. Talk about that. Them little problems. You cook brown rice instead of white rice. Man, that's a joke. You call that being mad? That ain't mad. I'll take that in a minute. So there's a big difference. So once again, y'all, make your decision wisely. Don't settle for somebody just because that's who's there and you don't want to bounce around. You don't want the coronavirus. I get it. You get them tested. You know what I'm saying? Make sure they don't got it, but you don't have to sit there and settle for something that ain't gonna work. You're just gonna be sitting there just putting up with it. There's a difference between putting up with it and actually somebody changing to better you and you better them. Just because people been together for a long time don't mean they're happy. Sometimes some of them got that tan so well because they was in hell for so long. That's where that tan came from. Y'all was light skinned when y'all was first together. Now both of y'all chocolate. Y'all been going through hell since y'all been together. Crazy. Just because they stay together don't mean they're happy. They're just putting up with it, afraid of diseases and stuff. They're like, you clean, I already know what you got. But, there's some other clean people too. Just get them tested. All right, y'all. Peace.